What is going on, guys? Rich here from Fit Fusion Brotherhood. I'm going to basically jump right to the point. We're going to do push-ups today. I'm going to talk about 3 common mistakes I typically see. I'm going to tell you to fix them in basically 3 simple steps, or 1 simple step for each mistake. And I'm going to give 2 bonus tips for you at the end as well to really enhance your push-ups. So let's say you're struggling with strength and you just can't do too many push-ups. These tips are going to help you. And I also got 1 progression for you, so you're going to want to stick around to the end to kind of see those progressions. Excuse my floors, I got a vacuum, bit of a mess right now. Hope you don't mind. You're here for the push-ups. You're not here to judge my floor and the living situation. So the first mistake I typically see in a push-up, and by far this is the most common one I typically see, it's going to be the hands too wide and the elbows too wide. And I'll tell you how to fix it in terms of where you want to put it. So it might look something like this. Hands are wide, we're coming down, elbows are shooting up, or shooting out in that position. And what that's gonna do is cause a lot of strain to the shoulder. Like even doing those couple reps for me right there, I kind of feel like it's really not too comfortable for the shoulder. So if you're doing that, I want you to tuck it in a little bit more. Now, I will say, it's probably gonna make it a little bit of a harder movement because especially right here, and you're just gonna limit the range of motion, also it's gonna be a little bit easier. So just kind of keep that in mind. It might not be this tip for you in terms of making push-ups easier, but I guarantee you it's going to help correct your shoulder health if you have any shoulder injuries or even potential shoulder injuries that may come down the road. So what I like to do for grip, you don't want to be like super tight here, but you don't want to be obviously out here. I like to do it like a chest press. So like a chest press angle where you're kind of like in this position at the bottom. It's the exact same motion for a push-up. So you're here, I'm gonna try to go down the best I can. So notice it's right here in this position, I'm coming down and I'm pushing all the way back up. So my elbows aren't flared, I'm not super tight, I'm somewhere in the middle, and it's a great bang for your buck in terms of protecting shoulder health, but also not making like super tricep dominant. Because if I'm like right here, you're gonna get a lot of elbow bend, it's gonna be more triceps. Meet in the middle, and that's gonna be the best cue for you in terms of correcting that wide position, especially with the elbows kind of flaring out. So that's tip number 1 and common mistake number 1. Now number 2, this is the one I probably struggle with the most, and I see this a lot. It's the lower back arching, and I'll tell you the fix for it. Now for some people, it's gonna be harder to correct this because you're gonna live in what's called an anterior pelvic tilt, basically meaning your hips are kind of shooting forward like that, and you kind of get that natural arch to you. Like for me, that's kind of my where I'm at right now. So for me, it's always a battle. But what I typically see in push-ups a lot of the time is back is arching and it's just kind of looking a little bit like that in that position. And it's not like, okay, it is wrong, of course. It's not the end of the world, but if you do have back pain, especially extension type back pain where the arching hurts it, you're definitely going to correct this. A little arch is okay. I think some people are in that naturally extended posture, but just make sure it's not like you're overarching. Now the tip to correct this is I want you to think core and glutes. So a lot of times when we get that extended posture, look what happens now if I tuck in my core and I'm really bracing my core. I'm bracing. Do you notice it's a lot more flat? Even glutes as well, it's a lot more flat because sometimes we just weaken the core or we don't have the core stability if we're in that extended posture. So it's gonna look something like this now. So if this is like your typical extended push-up posture, you're gonna push your belly button all the way up this way. So you're gonna push up right here. So my core is braced, glutes are engaged a little bit, and then from here, I'm just going up and down and correcting that motion. And again, even those push-ups right there, you might have saw a bit of a back arch. Again, I'm in that naturally extended position, so it's not gonna be perfect, but just note, brace your core, push up a little bit more, and it should take away that extension in your back. And again, this is gonna make the push-up tougher because this is obviously easier than this. You're getting more range of motion, but it's gonna make it better for your lower back and also more benefit to your chest, shoulders, and triceps. Now the third cue, I'm gassed right now. The third cue is gonna be something I see a lot, but it goes undetected for a lot of people. And then I'll give you the 2 bonus tips after this. It's gonna be the chin shooting forward. So a lot of times, it kind of looks like this. You're right here, in the head, just kind of pops forward like that. What that basically is a false range of motion, right? Because if you shoot your head forward, it's gonna feel like you're closer to the ground and it's gonna be perceived as easier to do, and it's not gonna feel as hard to do because your range of motion simply is not as far down. So it kind of looks like this, right? The head shoots forward. The cue I love to give is make a double chin. It looks ridiculous, but if you do have this like issue, make a double chin, kind of pack that neck. Eric Cressy, if you're not sure if he is, YouTube him. He has some great stuff in terms of packing the neck. So you pack the neck, you make a double chin from here, you get in that position, head stays neutral, and you're just going back and forth instead of just shooting forward like that. Because if you shoot forward like that, two things are gonna happen. Number one, I talked about, it's gonna limit the range of motion and it's gonna perceive as you're going all the way down, but you're actually not. And number two, you're gonna jack up a lot of those muscles in the neck, right? Because if you're just like that in a push-up, you're getting your traps involved, a muscle called the levator scapulae, your neck muscles, and those muscles kind of get overworked for a lot of us, especially for texting, typing a lot of the day. So pack that neck in, get those deep muscles involved in the neck, and that'll help correct that cue there. Okay, so bonus tip before I start passing out here. What I love to do in a push-up is go back a little bit of an angle. So do you notice like my bench press, it's never like straight down. It's always you're pushing maybe a little bit below the nipple line and then you're pushing back a little bit. It's the same thing in the push-ups. And if you do this, I guarantee it's gonna make your push-up a lot better and you're getting more reps while doing this. So what I mean is a typical push-up, right? Sometimes we'll see just like straight up, straight down like that. And nothing is bad. Like, I don't think it's a bad form, but a tip I like to give is push yourself away just a little bit, and I'll show you about 3 to 5 good reps here. So right here, I'm pushing back just a little bit. So notice how I'm pushing my hips towards the wall. So instead of just going right up and we're kind of really stacked over my wrist, you push back a little bit in that position, and you get more of a natural flow to it. The cool part as well, if you have any sort of wrist issues, it takes less pressure off the wrist. Because if you're just kind of jammed like that all the time, you're putting a lot of pressure on your wrist joint right here. But if you push back, look at the difference. It's not as much stacking and pressure over that wrist joint. So that's your bonus tip number 1. Bonus tip number 2, if you want to get better at push-ups, so let's say you're stuck between like 8 to 12, maybe 10 to 15, and you want to go better at it, I want you to add a bend. What this is going to do is really teach you how to explode the push-up, because sometimes we go too slow. The more speed we have, the more power we're gonna have, and that should translate to more and better push-ups. So what you do is get a band, you loop it around between your thumb and your pinkies, you wrap it around, you put it between your elbows. So the bottom part is through the elbow, and make sure it's not too high up. Get it as low as you can, and then from here, you just gotta secure it with your thumb between your finger, and it's the exact same idea. I want you to go slow down and then fast up. So you're gonna go like 1, 2, speed, 1, 2, speed, and it's just gonna get extra tension at the top. Because in a push-up position, or like a chest press, whatever it might be, there's really no tension when our arms are extended, right? Like you guys know, you can hold this position all day. The hardest position is at the bottom. So we get a bend, it stretches out more at the top, and it actually makes it harder throughout the range of motion if you use a bend opposed to just doing it with body weight. So 2 things it does, it helps with speed and power, and number 2, makes more tension at the top, and it challenges the strength curve in different ways without a bend that could do, if that makes sense. I didn't really speak too well there, but I hope you get what I'm saying. That's your 3 cues, guys, your 3 tips. So number 1 is arms too wide, come in a little bit. You don't want to be right here, kind of go about 45 degrees. Number 2, lower back arching, push up your core a little bit, use your glutes, try to flatten the best you can. And number 3, the chin shooting forward, double pack that neck, use those deep neck muscles to make sure you're not shooting forward. Your bonus tip, remember you're pushing away just a little bit, and if you want to make your push-up better, add a bend to it, you're getting more speed and power, and it should feel better overall, it should translate to more reps. Hope that helps, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and we'll talk soon.